Hello, my name is Brianna Green, and today we're going to do a program evaluation on the Every Student Succeed Act. So I'm going to tell you what the Every Student Succeed Act is. The Every Student Succeed Act was approved to control the country's K through 12 public education. President Obama signed the Every Student Succeed Act on December 10, 2015. Basically allow each state to determine how students are evaluated. The Every Student Succeed Act mandates that each state create a clear and understanding report cards that's available online and gives parents critical information on testing, including reading, math, and science. The Every Student Succeed Act focuses on keeping the fundamental principles of standard-based reform, which gives states and school districts a significant amount of independency. Background on the Every Student Succeed Act is it is the predecessor of the No Child Left Behind Act, which is also the predecessor of the No Child Behind Left Act is the 1965 Elementary and Secondary Education Act. The purpose of the No Student Left Behind Act was to erase and eliminate the math and reading gap in public schools based on language, ethnicity, and race. After further review, reviewers of the Every Student Succeed Act are worried that the states will have chance to create standards and evaluations with little to no control over how monetary are spent in students with disabilities education is affected considering the revisions. The No Child Left Behind has had disastrous effects on the unique education community. Teachers and administrators believe that special education kids will be negatively impacted by these recent changes with the same Every Student Succeeds Act. Specifically, 1% of all students in general population equals around 10% of all students with disabilities. Therefore states must count up to 10% of their students' results on the alternative assessment, aligned with the alternative academic achievement standard exam. Only 1% of all students will be permitted to take this alternative exam under the Every Student Succeed Act. Other assessments are solely meant for other students with severe cognitive problems. So the correlation with how the No Child Left Behind Act and the Every Student Succeed Act has had an effect on special education is the same in this act. So my research question focuses on what effects do the Every Student Succeed Act policies have on students with special needs? How primarily do standards and evaluations and accountability under the Every Student Succeed Act handles kids with disabilities? Why we need to evaluate this program. The Every Student Succeed Act focuses on public education but does not focus on special education or specific needs when it comes to learning. The performance of kids with disabilities is not separately rated in 33 states, raising questions about whether a school may obtain a good grade when it comes to special education, when it comes to students with special education. 10 states offer comprehensive avenues for students with impairments. More than half of the states do not intend to interfere with students with special education's performance unless they have 3 or more years of poor performance. And an early draft state plan showed that there was 106 exposed various issues from examining the Every Student Succeed Act. The effects of the Every Student Succeed Act on students with disabilities has been observed by multiple organizations. The new federal legislation, which gives states a lot more authority in their school district, generally regards as a positive development for all students except students with disability. The most critical change for students with disability is that a limited number of students can take alternative assessments. However, more may be needed to close the gap between special education needs and public education. So for this program evaluation, quantitative research would work better when it came to what research method I would use. Basically, it allows me to gather data by using open-ended questions and in-depth interviews and surveys. And with this data, I can summarize the various student population with students with disabilities, highlight any possible new issues, and focus on the research and see if there's any other research gap. It doesn't just allow me to narrow down where I'm getting my information on or what issue that I'm focusing on. It allows me to see if there's any other underlying issue when it comes to the Every Student Succeed Act when it comes to students with disability. And the target audience will be for the interviews would be Department of Education, state and local administrators, and representatives of disability rights programs, parents, organizations, and students. So the first step in our research procedures would be identifying the problems and data collection possibilities, determine the problem and opportunity for data collection. Choose the problem and opportunity and establish objectives to begin a data collection project. The third one would be to develop a strategy and action plan. And we want to decide on which way we want to evaluate and gather our information. Our fourth step in our reporting procedures would be gather information. At this point, in this process, we may have some logistical issues with gathering information, so we will deal with them as they come. Our fifth step would be analyzing and understanding the data. So we're going to see which techniques will work better for us. Either it's going to be qualitative or qualitative data techniques will be used. And our sixth step will be reacting to the outcome. A successful action plan will be created from the information after the data that we have collected and went through. Qualitative research focuses on the social dimension of inquiry. It allows the researchers to ask open-ended questions and conduct semi-controlled interviews with the understand to see if they understand the effects of the Every Student Succeed Act on students with disabilities. There will be four segments. The information collected from these semi-modular interviews will be with Department of Education leaders, local and state administrators, and etc. And with the information that we gather from those interviews, we will formulate questions that will be asked to parents with students with disabilities from different areas. When it came to qualitative versus quantitative method, qualitative works better for program evaluation. It tackles the how and why in the research question and allows us to develop knowledge from experiences and events and interviews. The qualitative research is critical in the field of education because it allows you to comprehend the human experience, and qualitative research enables you to pose questions that are difficult to answer without figures. The research method of choice will be qualitative. Quantitative research really doesn't focus on the control information. With qualitative research, it will help us understand the critical stakeholders' feelings, which is you guys' feelings about the Every Student Succeed Act policies on education. It does not limit the data. In this section, I'm going to tell you why I chose specific target audience. It's because we want to be exclusive into what issue we're trying to work on. We do not, with this, we're able to generate leads quickly and affordably and get to the issue when we have a target audience. The target audience will be critical participants such as departments of education leaders, state and municipal authorities, disability rights groups, parent organizations, students, and parents. The estimated cost for this evaluation will range to $260,000. That's for employees' pay, equipment and rental space, travels, and etc. The total amount of employees that will be needed is 30. Type of equipment that we will be needing will be tape recorders, notepads, pens, folders, printers, computers, desks, chairs, and space to put to use. The evaluation time frame will be 6 months. Deadlines and reminders will be sent to keep stakeholders informed, will be sent out weekly via email. Additionally, some issues may occur, but we will be able to deal with it when it comes. In our management plan, we have 5 steps, which is preparation. We want to make sure that we have everything we need to assess the situations and needs when it comes to doing our interviews. Make sure we have everything that we need. Analysis, we want to make sure that we're going through, we're evaluating the information and source and pinpointing the weakness and chances or any dangers while we're doing our current interviewing. Um, our vision is to make sure that our goal is set on when we're doing our interviews, what is the goal and what information is needed for this evaluation in our interviews. And our fourth step is making sure that we're planning accordingly, make sure that we have everything, our work schedule, budget analysis, our action plans, and reconfirming that our interviews are set up, making sure that the time and place is set up, making sure that we have all the information that we need when it comes to planning our interviews. And we should make, and our fifth step is implementation and feedback. We need the feedback on how we're doing and what we can do to make this process easier when it comes to talking to our stakeholders and talking to you guys and seeing how we can make sure that we are making this process and this program evaluation that we're doing an easy process for you and not stressful. Just want to make sure it's as organized as possible. And I do want to let you guys know that I know having multiple stakeholders can be complex, and it's essential that we want to make sure you guys feel heard and manage all you guys' needs. And how we're going to do that, we're going to make sure that we stay open minded, dependable, and we stay on our goal. And updates and findings will be sent out to stakeholders weekly every Thursday via email. A form will be attached to the email for questions and concerns that stakeholders may have. So if you have any concerns or questions, you can always put that in that form and we will look at that. In our first segment of interviews, it will consist of the first 35 days will consist of 30 interviews. All interviews will be scheduled ahead of time. It would be with Department of Education leaders and state and local administrators. The second segment of the study will consist of research conducted with various conferences such as California, Illinois, Texas, and Virginia to understand opinion from parents of students with disabilities. A total of 50 participants will be needed. A total of 12 per local conference will be needed. This will be done in a period over 65 days. The third segment will consist of a virtual form. It will consist of 10 open-ended questions that will be emailed to 30 participants, parents, or special education leaders from various people from various places in the United States. The fourth segment will consist of deciphering the information, and the time frame for this will be 42 days. All interviews will be scheduled ahead of time. And communication is vital in this program evaluation, so we want you guys to communicate anything with us. We'll communicate any findings or assessments or any adjustments that we need to make. So just don't be don't be scared to reach out. Further reaching out is okay, and we'll be prepared to answer your question if you need any assistance with anything. The purpose of the Ever Since C Act is to narrow achievement inequalities in education and give all students an excellent chance to obtain a fair, equitable, and understandable education by mandating states for creating assessments and accountability mechanism. The Ever Since C Act aims to achieve that. So we know that this act has potential. All students, including Those with disabilities are supposed to be supported by the Every Student Succeed Act to increase educational opportunity and enhance student outcome. There still needs work that needs to be done in the Every Student Succeed Act to promote equality for all students, and that's why we want to evaluate this program so we can get so kids can have the better opportunities when it comes to finishing their education. An evaluation of the Every Student Succeed Act policy on students with special needs is very much needed. We will we will use our data collection and our research procedures to produce the questions and data that we need, and we will also make sure that we keep and we manage to keep you guys informed as we go through each step of our process. Updates will be sent out daily. We are aware that issues may come ahead, so when those issues do come ahead, we will tell you and we will deal with them. Um, but at the end of the day, we just want better education for special needs education, and we want exclusivity. Thank you. My name is Brianna Green. Hope you have a good day. And this is my presentation.